Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Caleb Gordon Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Gordon. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be a part of the program today. Man, I am overjoyed and excited to have this conversation with Mr. Keith Foskey. He is the guy that has these viral videos called the denominational meetings, where he dresses up and impersonates different denominations and they're in a meeting and they're having conversations, and it is hilarious. And I love that this brother has brought humor into a sphere that is in desperate need of some humor, and not sacrificing biblical truth. And so I'm just grateful that he is doing this, and I am excited that count him as a brother, and looking forward to this conversation. I pray it blesses you and encourages you this week. Welcome to the Caleb Gordon Podcast, Mr. Keith Foskey. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, my friend. Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. This is technically Matt's fault. So you and I actually met last year at Fight Laugh Feast. I mean, I can't believe you don't remember me after, literally shaking my hand and, me gracing you with the presence of myself. So,
well, we probably have a picture together. I took
somewhere.
A picture, like everybody who I met, I just took a picture. And so it's probably in my phone.
You were wearing the Harbor Freight Doug Wilson. And what's funny is because because you and I have been talking, and that popped up, all the advertisements on my Facebook feed have been for Harbor Freight. So
it's funny because my YouTube channel, my videos often pop up with Harbor Freight ads, and people says, "Oh, is that on purpose?" No,
I wish it was.
Just the algorithm doing its thing. It hears me say Harbor Freight all the time,
mm-hmm.
and so it thinks I'm a channel that uses tools, which I'm not.
Fantastic. I love it. All right, so how in the world now? You're Presbyterian, right? Presbyterian minister?
Oh no, I am a Baptist.
Oh, you're a Baptist. Okay.
It's a secret.
This is because I'm out. So are you Southern Baptist, Reformed Baptist?
I am Reformed Baptist, but I am recently I had Gordon Clark on my show, and we talked about the fact that Reformed has within it a history, and people who are truly Reformed, think, well, you can't be Reformed and be Baptist, and they consider it oxymoronic. So I tell people I am Calvinistic Baptist, and that's why my show is called Your Calvinist, because that's been my nickname, online for a while.
Fair enough.
I'm Keith Foskey, and I'm your Calvinist.
I love it. So it is a funny thing. I saw right before this is, I don't know, how long you been doing the interdenominational videos?
A year and a half, maybe.
I was gonna say, it was about 8 months ago that I saw the first one on I was scrolling through reels, and I saw it, and I literally sat on the couch and I cried. I was laughing so hard. And it is awesome to see this, because most Calvinists, I love Reformed theology. I am very Calvinistic in my belief systems, but I love Reformed theology, but sometimes Reformed people can just be
say it, brother. Just speak truth.
Exhausting. Is that they can just be exhausting.
You ever see the show Parks and Recreation?
Oh yeah.
Where with Jean Ralphio?
Uh-huh.
We're the worst. We are the worst. Absolutely. 100%. So I am 100% with you, and my goal is to try to bring some levity and some sense to the madness, to just, you can be nice and believe Calvinism. That's all.
If you believe that God is sovereign, which I do, and you believe that God preordains, and you believe God before the foundation of the world was who he says he is and does what he says he does, why are we acting like complete crazy people sometimes?
Like everything requires me to be a butthole, right? Like and there are some guys who do it so well. There are guys who, and I have friends, I have to be careful using names because I don't want anybody to think I'm calling them out, but they are just so good at poking the bear, and they just do it. So, and I've never been that guy.
No.
Like yesterday, I posted something about the RNC, the Republican National Convention. Did you see the prayer?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, to the demon, to the
to,
prayer to
to
the demons.
the Wakanda prayer or whatever it was, the Wakalulu prayer, or
Yes,
it was like the Wago steak prayer or whatever it is.
She
That,
and then
yeah.
whatever she said. Yeah. Is that speaking in tongues? Is that technically allowed? Do we need an interpreter for that?
It was right out of Coming to America. And so it just, I posted and simply said, if you're praying to the one, because she said to
The one true God.
the one true God. I said, if you are praying to the one true God and it's not the God of Scripture, then that's blasphemy. That's all. Amen. I said. I wasn't trying to be super controversial. That seems like it shouldn't be controversial. That's like be normal. No. Like that's Christian thinking. Yep. And dude, like my page lit up. Like I can't believe, you have to understand people have freedom of religion, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I know, I'm exercising mine. I'm exercising my freedom to say she's
not right.
False God. So yeah, people don't expect me to say things like that.
Yeah. They're like, you're supposed to just be the funny guy. And, yeah, no, it's, I get it, which is, listen, I love that you're funny, but so how long have you been pastoring?
This is my 18th year as pastor of Sovereign Grace Family Church.
Man, that is right there. That is proof that just longevity in ministry is so great. My dad was pastor at our church for 35 years before he went on to be with the Lord. And man, longevity in ministry. I've been at our church I'm at First Baptist Church, Cedarville, Kansas. I've been there 5 years this October. And golly, God we've grown numbers wise, and we've grown in the love of Scripture. So that's I think that is one of the keys is just the consistent week in and week out, opening the text and letting the text do its work. So man, I love that. Okay, so go ahead.
To say that about your dad, 35 years in the same place, that speaks to his character. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of guys, they bolt at the first sign of problems. You heard the old story about the 3 letters. You ever heard that story? Pastor was leaving the church and the new pastor was coming in. They were walking past each other, and he said, I left you 3 letters in the desk. He said, it's labeled A, B, and C. He says, when you have your first major problem, open the first letter, the letter A. Yeah. So the pastor, first 6 months, it's all, sunshine and rainbows. Everybody's happy.
Of course, it's honeymoon.
Yeah. And then he goes to his first major problem. So he opens up letter A and it says, blame everything on the deacons, put your head down and charge forward. Right. Well, okay. So he did that another year. Oh, he says, and when your next problem comes up, open letter B. So he goes through another year, goes to another problem, opens up letter B. It says, okay, now you blame all your elders, keep your head down, charge forward. Just keep going. And when the next problem comes, open letter C. So he does that, makes it another year. Another problem comes up. He opens up letter C and it says, start writing 3 letters. Because you're on the way out.
You're on your way. They're gonna you're done.
On your way out.
You're done.
Yeah, that's the way a lot of ministries are. 2.5 to 3 years.
2.5, 3 years. Yeah. And Dad was on staff in the 70s and went to school under Dr. Adrian Rogers. So that's his model was Dr. Rogers, and I got to meet him before he went to glory, and so that was his sort of his mentor was Dr. Rogers.
Well, so he's the reason. Well, he's the one of my elders got saved under the preaching of Adrian Rogers.
Praise the Lord.
So we're very thankful for his ministry, though he was not a fan of Calvinism.
No, he wasn't. Which is funny because my dad was a Calvinist, and so and people, and there will probably be people that hear that and they'd be like, "Oh, your dad was a Calvinist?" Yeah, he just didn't talk about it. He didn't like. He wasn't the guy that was like he said I teach what the Bible teaches, and so he didn't. And this is what happens is in the Reformed world. Everybody likes to use the hot button terminology, or you're not really a Calvinist. And I'm just like, no, it's in the text. Just go with what's in the text. Let the Bible say and do what the Bible is. So that's my thought. But whatever.
I'm one of the few guys who uses the language only because it became an issue at one point. There was even a local pastor who called me out, like at a restaurant. I walked into a restaurant and he said, that guy's a Calvinist. Like it was really loud. Like he made a big deal about it. And so like after that, it became like almost for me, like I'm going to steer into the embankment. If I got to go off the cliff, I'm just going to go straight off the cliff. So I just started like making a big deal out of it. So I have shirts that say "You're Calvinist." That's not the one I'm wearing, but you know, I have like
Yeah.
that's like it became the joke.
I
Because
love it.
if I'm gonna be funny, I'm gonna be real funny.
Come
If
on,
I'm
bring it.
yeah. So
I
anyway.
love it. So you've been pastoring for 18 years. What made you decide to step into comedy?
Oh, that's a great question. I have always wanted to do stand up, and I recently had the opportunity to do that a few times. I've done two stand up acts, and they've gone okay. Actually, three. I've done three, and it's something I've really wanted to do because it's an important form of art
Hmm.
that I do think is art. I think comedy is art, just like any other performing art is art. And I've always been very artistic. I was
Yeah.
in the band in high school. The football coach wanted me on the football team because I was, 6 foot tall and 250 pounds. He's like,
Hmm.
come knock people over. I was like, no, I want to play this. I was very, very Methodist. I want to march. I want to be fantastic. No, but anyway, so I've always liked to perform. I was in, I was in Greece in high school,
Yeah.
and no, I wasn't Danny Zuko. I would have wanted to be, but I wasn't fit for that. So, but it's just my personality. I
Yeah.
like that, and I have to fight that in the pulpit
Sure.
because I don't want to be
Yeah.
a
100%.
clown.
Yep.
Don't
Don't want
want
to be the clown in the pulpit. There's a time and a place for everything. And when and listen, there can be humor in in the pulpit, but if that's the primary, oh, he's the funny pastor. Like, I don't know about that. I mean, that's not the directive, right? But it's okay to use humor because, as my dad used to say, most Christians should be the happiest people on earth, but most of us look like we've been weaned on dill pickles. And so
He's right.
that
He's right.
was my dad's go-to for so many. Dad, you talk about a guy that had a great sense of humor. He just did. I mean, practical jokes. He was that guy.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's the thing with like Vodi Bakum.
mhm.
What do we remember? We remember him saying that dog won't hunt. We remember him saying, if you can't say amen, say ouch. We remember those things because they're funny.
Yeah,
And all of his other stuff is memorable too, but we quote the funny
the
stuff.
funny stuff. Sure.
And so there's a place, like you said, there's a place for humor as long as it's not the goal.
Yeah.
But when I made my first denominational video and it went what I would call semi-viral,
Hmm.
I don't know what you have to do to hit like real viral, but my first denominational video hit 90,000 views in one day.
Oh wow,
So for me, that was a big deal.
that
That
was a
was
big
like,
deal. Sure.
yeah. I woke up, I put it on TikTok on a Saturday, woke up on Sunday morning to go to church, and it's pumping out 40, 50, 60,000 views. And it's every time I
So
open it up, it's going
more.
higher. So I said, okay, so there's a place for this type of humor.
Yeah.
The people like this.
Oh, I
And,
loved it. I
and
loved it. I shared it like crazy with a whole bunch of people that I knew, and I sent it around. It's like this guy is hilarious, and he's right.
well, I appreciate that. Well, now I'm up to 32 of them. We've had the denominations do everything from order coffee to go to the Ark, which is you were there.
I was there for that one.
And just yesterday or just earlier this week, the denominations had a game night, and so that's the latest video. And
Yeah.
on that one, I did a little thing at the end where I said, hey, if you like these videos, I need ideas. What do you want to see the denominations do? And man,
You got a bunch.
I'm not kidding when I say 50 different
That's
ideas came
awesome.
through email and stuff. Everything from the denominations do karaoke to the denominations go camping. It's almost like a TV show at this point. I'm writing scripts. And
That's,
so,
how long does it take you to put those? I mean, to do them. What's the average time?
oh, it depends on the subject, but I mean, a week,
Yeah.
from a week from the concept to finish.
Yeah.
Because usually it'll start with one idea,
Yeah.
like when I did my Halloween one, which is one of the most popular. It started with the idea that all Methodists have pumpkin patches in their churches. And so that was what started it. Was we were driving by a pumpkin patch. We said, man, every Methodist church has a pumpkin patch. What do they have? Like, are they like in the pumpkin mafia? Are they like, are they connected? Is this like it's somebody's laundering money through these Methodist churches and they're using pumpkins as their laundering? So we made this 1-minute video of all the denominations talking about what they do for Halloween.
Halloween, yeah.
And of course, Big Eva, they do something outlandish.
Oh, yeah.
Baptists do something very Baptist, trunk or treat. That's what they do.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the big thing I've learned. It can't be too obscure. It has to be very on the nose.
Oh, it is. Every one of them I've watched, I'm like, that's yep.
It's
yep.
Right on
It's right on the nose. And I think that's the reason it resonates with so many people is because it is actually funny. And it's like, oh, I could totally see my church doing this.
Yeah, and, we did this. Yeah. In fact, I said one time, the Lutheran mentioned a Jesse tree, and a ton of Lutherans messaged me like that day and said, I don't know what you're talking about. And it upset me because I had thought that was a very big thing in Lutheran churches, but apparently I was wrong.
Yeah.
And so like it's only in a certain section of Lutheranism that they do the Jesse tree. And other Lutherans were like offended. You got it wrong. I was like, dude, it wasn't on purpose. Like, I'm not trying to offend you. Like, just what happened,
So how much hate are you getting from certain denominations for your videos?
That's a great question. That you would be surprised how little hate I get.
Good.
From that. I will say this: Methodists.
My cousin is a Methodist, and my aunt is a Methodist, and my in-laws are Methodist. So this is fantastic.
But have you asked them?
John was like, yeah, no, that's 100%. Every time I send him, I'm like, bro, there it is.
That's what I say. All the Methodists I talk to are like, yeah, you nailed it, you got us, yeah. But on TikTok, because that's where my biggest numbers are. I mean, I've got videos that are in almost the millions on TikTok. And the thing about TikTok is there is a very strong contingent that is very, I don't know if you'd say woke or leftist or whatever, but get offended by just about anything.
Anything, yeah. And the sky's blue. Oh, how
that's
dare
right.
you.
No, it's not. That's indigo.
Exactly.
So it's I have had because a new thing I'm doing is I'm doing these little 6 to 10 second videos with a song in the background of just me drinking something. I know that sounds like it's stupid, like it should, but it's getting like thousands of views. I don't know why people want to see these, but like I did one where I was drinking a Yoo-hoo, which is a weird thing. I was wearing my Methodist polo and I was drinking a Yoo-hoo and I was waving, and the caption says, it was right after the last Methodist General Assembly. It said the Methodists are waving goodbye to Christianity, because at the last General Assembly they did some, did some wild stuff, and that's all it said. It was a 6-second video.
Hemisphere is on fire.
Oh man, posted on TikTok. It's 250,000 and climbing. It's still climbing. Still one of my highest videos of the last month, and stupid amount of hate. That one got, it's 6 seconds. It's playing the song, I wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. That Green Day song. It's got Green Day playing. I think it's Green Day. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's just this most random video. And man, that got some hate. But I take it. I think I'm like,
hey, if you can dish it out, you got to be able to take it. So,
and this is hilarious. That's what I say. This is funny. Yeah. It's not funny that you guys are abandoning Christianity. No, it's funny I'm calling you out for it.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about humor is humor can be used to call out some things that are needed to be called out. That's the reason so many comics, like, I think of different comics throughout the years. Like I even think of guys like Dave Chappelle. Like I would not recommend people go watch Dave Chappelle, but I mean some of the things he says, I'm like, like he's not wrong. He's not wrong, but he uses humor and you're like, oh, okay. And humor can can get in places sometimes and speak truth, and all the while you're laughing, you're like, wait a second, was he talking about me? And so it's a real thing.
Absolutely. Dave Chappelle would be a tremendous social commentator if he
Oh,
wasn't
so
willing to
vile.
pass the line of immorality.
Yeah, yeah.
He people ask me sometimes, who do I think the greatest are?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm often a little uncomfortable listing him among
Sure.
the greatest.
Sure.
Because of his willingness to cross the line of immorality.
Yep.
But certainly talent. He's one of the great
talent. He's great. I have my one claim to fame is I am friends with Bob Smiley, and we met golly probably close to 25 years ago, and we did an event, and the whole his little spiel on the Bartlesville ER and one of his albums that he put out, that was with me, and it was like the funniest thing in the world. And so that's my one comedian that I know personally. Now I can say I know two. So,
well, yeah. I tell people like I say I'm a humorist, and the reason why I don't say comedian yet is because I'm still working on my stand up.
Sure.
And when people think comedian, they think stand up ordinarily, so I'm a little careful with that. But and I'm not.
When we see you on Joe Rogan, that's when we know you've made it.
Somebody said something the other day that I don't think it would ever. But somebody said something like, "Hey, Canon Plus, you should sponsor Keith Foskey's first stand-up special. Like do just an exclusive stand-up special, make it on Canon Plus, only available to members, and like see how it goes."
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm 100% in. I would do it for free. I would do it for no money.
Hey, Doug, did you hear this? He's saying free.
I would do it, and if it got no views, or if it was terrible, at least I could say I have done it. I know I've got at least 30 minutes worth of material if they wanted to do a special.
You've got an online special
right there. I got 15 minutes on the Karate Kid alone.
Dude, my kid right now is hooked up. He's 14. He loves all this stuff, Karate Kid and Cobra. All this, I don't even know. I'm like, what is the revival of this stuff? It's bananas.
Well, that's one of the things a lot of people don't know this. I'm a karate teacher, and I've been in karate for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
So it's actually the longest thing I've done. I've been saved since I was 19, but I actually started karate when I was 14. Oh, wow. So I've been saved for 25 years, and I've been in karate for 30 years.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
But I got into karate because of karate movies.
Mm-hmm.
And all the 80s movies, Steven Seagal, Jean-Claude Van Damme, all those movies, they made you think karate was magical. And if you could do this, then you could do all these things. And so now I go back and I watch the movies, and I'm totally picking them apart.
They're horrible.
Like for instance, and I don't want to take up the whole time for the show with this, but I'll make this very quick. The entire movie of Karate Kid takes place over a period of 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know this because Daniel arrives in California on the day before school starts, because the weekend before school starts, because he goes to the beach. That's where he meets Allie. That's where he gets beat up by Johnny. Right, that happens. The All Valley Under 18 Karate Championship is on December 19th. Okay, so school starts around maybe the mid-August, right? Yeah. So we're talking September, October, November. Daniel's son goes from knowing no karate to being the unanswered champion of the All Valley Under 18 Karate Tournament in 3 months.
Wait a second. Number 3, isn't there biblical? Is there a way we can?
Yeah, that's what it is. He's the Holy Trinity. In 3 months, he that's what it was. Mr. Miyagi was Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. That's what.
Can we twist that in somehow? Calm down, Calvinists. Calm down, and it's not blasphemy. It's just a joke.
But that's my whole problem with the whole movie is the timeline does not work. No. It actually ends up being 6 weeks because he doesn't start training in karate until after Halloween.
Nice. Yeah.
Because he got beat up on Halloween night. So you're talking about October 31st to December 19th.
It's quick.
He goes from white belt to black belt. And I'm so offended by that as a black.
He's like, how did I miss this? I missed that part.
It's like it took me 5 years to get my first black belt, and I train like every day. So
crazy.
he's such a liar.
Yeah, he is. It's bananas. That's so crazy. All right, so if people, I'm trying to, I don't have any notes to ask you any other super insane questions, but you if people want to get a hold of you, if they want to, you got a website?
Yeah. Okay. So this is the easy part. My name is Keith Foskey, and that's my website. Just KeithFoskey.com.
We'll put a big banner at the bottom of this that says your name.com.
Thank you. Yeah. And you can find all of my videos. You can find my merch store, which has my shirts, which this is one of my shirts. It says, I hope it was a blast for them, because it was certainly a blast
for me.
It's a little joke I make.
I love that. When I first saw it, I have actually, I think I have that saved as one of my, I can't remember. I think I have that somewhere on my phone. I have it saved as a picture because I was like, that is fantastic. I love it. So I have become quite the fan of your content, and I appreciate you injecting humor into a sphere that is in desperate need of some humor, because sometimes we can be a little stuffy, for sure.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and I'm super thankful to get to be on your show.
Absolutely. And, hey, what part of the world are you in?
I'm Jacksonville, Florida.
Florida, man. Sweaty times there.
It's terrible right now. I mean, I'm not, a big global warming guy, but I'm getting there. I'm learning. I tell you what.
How long have you been? You've been in Florida? How many years?
I've never lived more than 20 miles from where I was born, so I've been here my whole life.
Okay. I was down there a couple of years ago for a work trip, and before that, I came down and I preached in Panama City for a youth thing on the beach, and I'd never been to Florida before, and I was like, this place in the summer is dumb. I can understand why people want to go.
It is dumb.
Yes. I can understand why you'd want to go in the winter, but summertime is just dumb. Like it. I literally walked out of the hotel, and I didn't walk 10 feet, and I had to I'm in Oklahoma, and Oklahoma has stupid humidity too, but oh my gosh. Ridiculous.
It's awful.
It is. Cool. So what's the name of your church?
Sovereign Grace Family Church. So if anybody's in the Jacksonville area, wants to come visit us, sgfcjax.org. We got a brand new website. Fellowship Studios put it together for us, nice. And it looks awesome. So go check it out if you're interested. And we have over 1,500 sermons online of all different kinds of topics. So if people want to.
Who's the guy with the giant? I looked at one of the videos. The guy has like this ginormous, like Duck Dynasty beard.
That's one of the guys I was on the phone with. That's not one of the deacons, but I was on the phone with the deacon before you called. But right before that, I was on the phone with the elder. That's Mike Collier. He's my best friend in the world. And
love his beard. Yeah,
we've been elders together now for 6 years.
Nice.
He's a great guy. And Brother Andy is our other elder. Who's
the guy that plays the Reformed Baptist with the firearm? Is that one of your deacons as well?
No, that's one of that. I would place him again as one of my best friends. That's Richard Roden. I actually live in his house. He sold me his house because he moved. So when I said I've never lived more than 20 miles from where I grew up, like I live 5 miles from my dad's house. Like,
nice.
Like we are, right there. But anyhow, Richard we graduated from high school together. We've been friends for 20 years or 30 years, however long high school is, and how long it's been since high school.
Right.
Richard is in my intro video. I don't know if you've ever seen the one that Hans Feeney wrote the song for me.
I haven't seen that one yet. I'll go find it though.
I'll send you that. That's
okay,
real fun.
Sweet.
It's the Your Calvinist podcast theme song.
Oh, okay. Yes. Set
to the tune of Perfect Strangers from the old 80s TV show.
Yeah.
Richard is I'm Balky and Richard is the straight man. It's very funny. Yeah.
It's awesome. I love it. Well, Keith, I appreciate you taking time to be on the show today and just sharing your heart and your ministry with us. Thank you.
Absolutely. It was so good to be on here with you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.